Mixed feedback from some of the new monster announcements. I say new announcements. Gravios is like well old. He's from Monster Hunter Ultimate 4, if I remember correctly. Made an appearance in Generations as well, I think, but I do like that mosquito dude. His attacks affect the ground. He's got this like proboscis and a sting. The armor looks crazy as well, so that one I'm really happy for. Talking of crazy armor, if you know, you know. We're going to discuss my favourite top 5. I went with 5 monsters from Sunbreak that are kind of unique to that DLC. It's quite a difficult one because there are variants from Rise. I've chosen to go with some of the more unique offerings. My choices do heavily include how cool the set looks and how useful their weapons actually are. It's a major factor actually. Sunbreak also hit us in the nostalgia feels with some epic names with past flagship monsters. They've also kept in some of those really cool variant angles. When I talk about that, I'm meaning things like Scorched and Golden. They will make them extremely powerful and different in attack pattern. I really appreciate that. I did want to talk about this very briefly, and I covered it in the standalone review of Sunbreak. With the new monsters obviously comes the new weapons, and I love that master rank power, the different look to them, and of course the new switch out skills. It is a great piece of DLC. Master rank also covers the behaviour of standard monsters from Rise. Check out this Kezu, barely recognisable with the ferocity of attack, and of course differences in the projectile shapes and angles. I barely got this kill, and I've been in situations where that last hit, it was over, regardless of whether that monster is eliminated or not. I will also be crucifying the names of a lot of these monsters. I may put them on screen if I do start struggling. This is the Blood Orange Bishatin. It is not included on the list. I wanted to talk about some of the monsters that didn't make it and how damn cool they are. This guy's heavy bowgun is my go-to at the moment, so I love some of the armor and equipment that comes off the back of these newer monsters for Sunbreak. Same goes for Garangolm, absolutely amazing monster, love the chunky look of the armor, but just didn't make it unfortunately. My first official entry is Astalos, or Astalos. He appeared for me first in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and he's like an electrified Raytheon or Rathalos, but with a scorpion-like tail, amazing slam attacks. It's a visual spectacle fighting this guy. The petroleum-like colour change on the wing webbing is ridiculously good this fight. I'm not going to dwell on him too long because it was covered in the original video and available on the Sunbreak demo. I strongly recommend, if you're in two minds about whether to have a look at Sunbreak, that fight is in that demo, and you also get the armor for the Palamute. But look at the armor for the main character. It is by far one of the most flashiest, luminous, loudest pieces of gear you can put on. That frickin' charge blade as well, the electricity on it, it's like swinging a giant transformable cattle prod around. Amazing stuff. The Palico little bog-eyed fly outfit as well, the whole thing is just epic. That weapon is white sharp and it just bounces off the horn of this guy. It is Espina, España, Spaniard, the Spanish monster, Espinas. Either way, the design of this dude is excellent. He's like a chunkier Raytheon, again winged, but this one charges. He's also got projectiles in the form of flame and poison, and he's got the worst focus attack ever. He will go on a 3-hit rampage with a singular hunter. It gets very tense. It's also one of the larger monsters as standard, and one of the more fearsome, aggressive looking monsters in the DLC. I love the big legs, the way you can get underneath him, and of course use that wire bug to get the height and come down on the top of the beast. There's also a little bit of novelty in here for me, I think, because I've never fought this monster before, and there is a flamed variant, which I haven't seen yet, but holy hell, this fight is tough enough. Every unique or new monster that I encounter within Rise always gets me thinking about what they're going to be like as a mount against other monsters, and this dude does not disappoint. Major points lost, however, for having the worst set, looking-wise, ever, full stop. I'm not even going to show it to you. Worse looking than the Kieran armor. Yeah, so I've just put it in perspective. Next up we got the big Frost Fox. He was urgent quest for the DLC Lunagaron. Lunagaron. Why are you saying it French? Lunagaron. This fight is in one of the arena challenges. I wanted a bit of focus on the monster, and it locks your set, and it also chooses the wirebug skill that you have to use. So there was a learning curve with this. The dude transforms, he's very cool, he has 2 phases and goes full Kruger with these massive ice claws. It's quite tense, very quick, got that Ordogoron vibe, a bit of Zenoga in there as well. Again, unique to Sunbreak for me, so this is a lot of novelty. It's really cool to see a new monster with new attacks, and the armor set is not bad at all. Bit of a sod to get on the grind, and again, frost weapons, not terrible. Ice weapons are super handy in Monster Hunter because most of the horrifically dangerous and tough monsters are fire-based, so that kind of gets them on the blight. We have our first variant in the form of Rakna-Kadaki. Now this monster appeared in Rise in its sort of white standard form, and it's an insectoid slash arachnid monster, one of my favourite sort of canons for these monsters to be designed in. And the teams would always take the armours really seriously for these guys. You will all remember the stuff in 4 Generations, but when it comes to the standard edition of this monster, it's like a doily design, like a doily cloth, like a tablecloth. It's an insult to anybody that went through the grievance to fight the damn thing. With this a little bit better, but it's the fight that gets ramped up because the addition of fire with all of its little bug-like minions is genius. I'm pretty convinced that a fight of this much chaos and moving parts and explosions could only really exist in Rise. It is so mental at stages, you're not even sure where you are, who you are, what you're fighting, whether you're alive or dead. It's kind of perfect. Changing the sort of form of the monster or the landscape of the fight is something Monster Hunter has done really well to the whole series. And seeing this thing sort of adapt and its abdomen become massive, it's also vulnerable, it's got these different stages to how it goes at you, and its visible depletion and bits broken on it really look cool. And it also does the insect on the back with the shaky legs fake death that we saw in previous games from other bosses of similar stature. Seregios is up next, first appeared in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. For me, this guy is full of claws and scales, and he also introduces a bleed blight, meaning you have to duck, stand still, take an item. You have to deal with this stuff, otherwise it will just deplete your health. Rolling away can also make you lose health, so the panic is there. He's very much Falcon-esque with these sort of claw-first dives towards you, airborne all the time, nice and easy to flash, and a quite satisfying level of tail destruction with him. He's also a lens in his front head that is quite difficult to farm. This fight was unreal. I had a random in. I had to carry them through the last 15 minutes because they lost 2 lives. I must have got through about 18 dust of life powders, but we did it, and that's why I did my dramatic "I'm the boss" walk away. But bros, look at the set. Oh my god. And if my old man Monster Hunter veteran memory serves me correctly, one of the plus points for the weapon with this guy and the armor to a certain extent was that a roll would equal one sharpen or a reload if you had a gun, and I can't find that perk. It might be because I don't have the full set. And talking of variants, I just wanted to talk about Almudron, Almudron. The standard issue of this guy is pretty cool, but the variant is even better, but it's just not as exciting as I imagined over for that insect fight. Okay, this is Malzeno, the flagship monster for Sunbreak, the one on the screensaver, the one on the cover, etc. And he's a very cool fight. It's a mixture for me between, again, Astalos, Rathalos, Raytheon, but with some new stuff thrown in the mix, those funny flying leech things. And I love the whole purple, deep reds of the wings, horns. There's a lot to look at with this guy. And the same goes for the set. The set is spectacular. There's also a primordial Malzeno, which I haven't actually got to. I'd like something in the comments about whether that is even better than what we're looking at here, i.e. set and fight. And what a great scene here with two of the unique monsters from the DLC going at it toe to toe. Spoilers, this isn't actually the true final boss in Sunbreak. If you know about that set piece monster, I didn't really include it. I think set piece stuff is maybe a different video for another time, but be wary that there is more behind this guy. Can you believe that? Okay, we are at the winner monster, and it is Gore Magala. It's actually Gore Magala, but I call it Mangala for some reason. I just put an N in there, can't help it. There is a large element of nostalgia in here. It was the flagship monster, or one of the final bosses for Monster Hunter 4, and the fight really rocked my world back then. It's multi-phase, he adjusts the light and the environment, there's these funny horns that come out of his head that you have to break at a particular time in the fight if you want to get some of that advanced weaponry, and it's just quite a roller coaster. He can one-shot you if you're not paying attention, and under the wing and the design of the wing webbery is amazing. I'm pretty sure webbery isn't a word. He is also, I feel, not unfairly difficult, and that tail is always mostly on the ground. It's quite an easy one to pop off. His strange dragon miasma mechanic is still something I've fully yet to get my head round. Just make sure you take a bunch of nullberries, that much I have worked out. And I have covered this before, but Rise is very much about the wire bug, obviously. And introducing that to the Hunter's move set means that they had to adjust a lot of the attack patterns for traditional and newer monsters. The latter was easy because they were building them from the ground up, but to inject fresh activity into this old school monster like that with the wire bug techniques combined with its different attacks, it's mind-blowing. It just gave the whole fight more longevity. Probably had to kill this thing about 20-25 times back on the DS just to grind for that set, so it's surprising that I'm drawn back to it in this fresh engine. The set is one of the more darker and broodiest in the whole game, with the black skull, deep purple theme, the insect glade is like a snowboard. It's really amazing stuff. Can you let me know what your favourite monster is, full stop, from the whole series? I'll maybe do a collative video of just about everything. Are you happy that we're seeing a return of some traditional monsters in Wilds, and what are your thoughts on some of the new ones? I've been Couch Coop. We'll see you down there.
迫る漂う霧は絵を蝕もうとする魔種となって時すでに遅く視力を尽くし抗うほどに叩きねじ伏す力は収まることなくついにはまがまがしき姿が顕現する。